Welcome back, everybody, to the fourth episode of the podcast Cosmic. I'm Vlad, and let's go around the horn. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cosmic Ass.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the fourth installment. Woo!
May the fourth be with you. Yeah.
We're in the presence of greatness. We're in the presence of greatness. We have the Cosmic Ass here who will be able to prognosticate the future for us. So
Very vast and scary.
Vast and scary and glorious, if it's anything of that sort, as he's looking at himself in the mirror. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about three topics. We're going to first start off with Sony purchasing Bungie, which unfortunately will probably lead us down a dark and dreary path towards Destiny 2 again. We'll be talking about that. And secondly, we'll be talking about is it the fifth or the sixth episode of I've lost track now. I think it's the sixth episode of Peacemaker. And then we will also be talking about a fair amount of time about a small episode of the Book of Boba Fett that just dropped on Wednesday, which was episode 6 of 7. So with that, I'm going to start talking about Sony purchasing Bungie. So I'm going to open it up to the floor. Big news, would you gentlemen say?
Surprising news, definitely. I mean, everyone was pointing to Microsoft getting Bungie from their past relation, and with Destiny appearing on Game Pass. So Sony coming in and throwing that amount of money for a company with one IP is just shocking. So
absurd amount of money.
Is it? I mean, look. I mean, compared to Activision, what Activision Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard, which was what was that? It was 70 million, 67.
Yeah. But if you look at the IPs that Activision Blizzard had,
right. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do we feel that 3.6 billion is too much for Bungie?
Yeah.
Well, I think if they're sharing in the IP, it may not be too much, right? If they're going to create movies, go create cross-genre, cross-platform entertainment properties out of Destiny. I think there's a lot of money involved there, right? Movies, cartoons, maybe a TV show, books, etc. There's a lot for Sony to do there. And when you talk about a game, like obviously Destiny's still going to have a lot of life in terms of the type of game Destiny is. There's possibilities to branch off and do other games like they did with Halo.
I mean, they only have, I think right now they have one other IP in the pike for, I believe.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about Destiny itself. Destiny itself, maybe one IP, right, that we know about that they currently have active. But there's so much that I think they can do with it, Sony and them, and across kind of like as an IP. It's to me, there's a lot.
Well, it's lucrative. I do agree that I think it's lucrative.
To me, that's the only positive. To me, the only positive is, since I'm bowing out of the game, essentially, quote unquote.
One second again. Right now it's February 4th, 2022. Does anybody want to take an over/under on if that's going to actually happen?
Yes, that's a sucker's bet. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, but I think that I just think that it's a very smart move on Bungie's part, good move on Sony's part to own the IP, really, or a partner in the IP. I do think there's a lot of like that kind of, I don't know what to call it, but whatever Bungie's selling is, of course, obfuscation, lies, BS, whatever. They're not going to fly free of Sony. Eventually, Sony's going to pull the reins. Sony's going to give them money. It's back to when Activision was there. So there's no difference between how they're going to publish their game, how they're going to deliver Destiny, the game we play today. It's not going to change over the next 3 to 4 years. It's still the same.
I wouldn't even go 3 to 4. I'd go through the end of Destiny, the Light Saga. Right?
Yeah.
So we have 2 more drops. So through 2024, realistically, I think everything is going to stay.
But I'm talking about the way they monetize content. They're going to continue to monetize content. They're going to continue to shave off what used to be live content and now sell it. They're gonna cycle things and resell it.
Yeah,
to
but you know, I do disagree with you with regards to what is the cost of the game compared to let's you know, you don't play other MMOs. Other MMOs, for example, people are paying $14 a month, if not more than that, to play a World of Warcraft or to play a Final Fantasy.
Right? To get
But when you're ending up paying $40 for the DLC, I'm not talking for the seasonal pass.
okay.
That actually, to me, is not a bad deal compared to if it's for an entire year.
All right, but
Yeah, but that's not the same, though, Vlad. That's not the same. You just took out all the other costs that are in there. When again, I don't play the other games, but the way you just said it to me and the way I understand World of Warcraft is, there's one big initial purchase, right?
And then there's a monthly cost, a subscription cost.
$99, $15, let's say.
Right.
You're looking at the cost at a year. You're looking at $175 essentially.
Right. And what are you looking at for Destiny?
So Destiny, let's talk about it. Tell me how much it's going to cost all in to play Destiny for this year.
$80.
$80.
$100. $100.
$80.
$100. Let's say 100.
So far.
No, 100.
99. I think, if you get
99. Unless you, it's 99 with the 30th anniversary.
But the problem with that is this: you're going 4 months without any new content. That's
the same thing in Warcraft. You're not getting all this new content all the time.
Well, no, they do updates. They do weekly things once in a while. They do live events. They do all sorts of random things that go on in the world. So,
right. But I mean,
the thing is, you pay and I'm saying this as someone that plays the game.
And Destiny only gives you 4 new weapons every season?
It's just that I feel like a lot of once you do the content, all you're doing is just grinding for a specific drop or just to get your light level up. Other than that, it's like
isn't it the same thing in Warcraft where you have to do different levels of dungeons to get
But there's so many different dungeons though.
Well,
World of Warcraft is not taking away content from you. They're not taking away.
I agree. I agree.
Well, that's a huge difference.
That's a huge difference. You spent how much money for Forsaken?
Right. So here's the thing.
Now that money's gone. You spent
now with Sony money in there. Sony money maybe first of all they're going to hire more people. I personally think more than that. I don't think the game is going to change as much. I think what will change are the IPs.
What's going to be locked. There's definitely going to be strikes that are going to be locked. For
you think so? I if they go that route, that's the court of public.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm talking about. That's them just talking out of one side of their mouth.
But here's what I think will happen.
Sony wants to do is they always want to have the little exclusivity things.
Well, this is what I think is going to end up happening.
Bungie could say whatever they want. No, there's nothing going to happen. But we know Bungie always does a 180 like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 100%.
I think it'll be they're going to use Destiny the way that Microsoft uses Xbox Pass. That whatever Sony comes up with with whatever their Game Pass equivalent is going to be. I think Destiny will be on that for free. So like, for example, if you're a PS5 player, you'll be able to get the game, maybe not the seasons, but the game for free.
It could be like the new light type of package.
For somebody like me, right, who only plays one game, which was Destiny, and before that,
yeah, but you're a special unicorn.
What's really exciting to me is I like the idea that now I feel there's a path for a movie or a TV show. I feel like there's a bigger path for toys now. I feel there's a bigger path for
right. I think I told you guys separately. I was like, I was watching the trailer for Uncharted, and I said, oh, there it is. That makes perfect sense, right? All of a sudden, Uncharted is going to make money. That's going to become a franchise type of thing. They could get what?
Name one video game movie that's made a lot of money.
Oh wait, there is Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog already has a sequel coming out.
Like
Mortal Kombat, they're making another sequel to it. I'm not saying
those are movies that cost $30 million to make.
They can make it into a TV show.
For me, the opportunity to see it. I think
are you going to pay money to see a Destiny movie?
No, but we get some good TV shows, right? Or
I would prefer a TV show. I would prefer
shows. I don't think it'd be too hard to make a Destiny streaming show.
Look how long it took for a Halo TV show to come out.
I'm with you. I'm not saying that those.
I just don't. I think that everyone's under the assumption that I see Destiny young adult novels.
Yeah. Well,
see
the game and the purchase, I think it was a good move for both Bungie and for Sony. I'm not so excited because I'm not excited about the game really right now. And because I'm not excited about the game, I'm more interested in the recent reports in the gaming industry about how toxic the environment is there. And for all the stuff that they've been putting out over the last 2 to 3 years, we're a great company and we care about our people and they need to stay home because of COVID. We really care about their health. Meanwhile, they've been telling women that they want to have golden showers on them. They've been screaming at employees for not following the edicts of some lead writer. It's just a toxic environment.
But it's not the only toxic environment. Wasn't Activision the same?
Exactly. The whole industry is toxic. So the whole industry needs soup to nuts. Somebody to do something about it to regulate itself properly.
Agreed.
But I'm more concerned with the lie part, the lie, the facade.
Well,
we're a nice woke company that cares about people. They don't.
The same thing happened with Blizzard Activision. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself.
But again, you can't point to somebody being bad and say they're bad too. I'm talking about.
But the thing is that
I'm talking about a specific instance of Bungie saying we're
virtual signaling,
yeah,
constantly.
We're awesome and we're good, and they're not. And they come down on the community. Don't be toxic. Don't teabag. That's the worst thing you could do ever. And of course, that triggers me like crazy. That goes without saying. But meanwhile, they're teabagging their own employees, across Zoom meetings. I mean, get the fuck out of here, Bungie. I wish you. I don't wish you the best, but I think it was a good move regardless.
Can I just add one coda to that? I don't wish you the best, but I'm going to be jumping on Crucible after this podcast for about 3 hours. And I'm going to be cursing. I'm going to be hating myself, and I'll probably go eat a pint of Chunky Monkey afterwards to soothe my guilt.
Hey, I know I rage, and I'm trying to control this. I know I rage when I come across clans of 6 tryhards in Trials Armor who are all running the meta, and they got to show you how great they are because one guy's running Wither Horde, one guy's running that machine gun that never starts shooting. So they can stand on one side of the map and control it. And
but do we think that the Bungie buying, Sony buying Bungie is a good thing or not?
Yes, it's good. It's good.
I only think it's good for the people who get the money.
Yes, that's
for us, the players. I think, Vlad, you're right. It's just going to continue being what it is, at least until light. We're not going to see any difference.
Right.
Maybe we'll see differences after that. Maybe new IPs. That might be the only thing. And movies. Yeah, they'll probably do something, but honestly, I don't personally care, but maybe people do. So maybe
I don't. I think at the end of the day,
you're not interested. You don't think that there's an avenue there for them to get?
I just don't see how you could do it. I just don't see.
Outside of the Destiny community, I don't see it being very popular.
Look, I'm sorry. When you look at Microsoft purchasing Bethesda and then purchasing Activision Blizzard, those are sort of slam dunks that you're looking at sort of a wall being built by Microsoft of sort of content. Because I don't know if you guys have
sports
seen it,
games are just alone.
It's no longer a console war. It's a content war.
Mm-hmm.
So if Microsoft ends up having you may not play this, but if Elder Scrolls 6 is a Microsoft exclusive, that's huge.
Well,
Call of Duty. Look, the only thing I could see is that Sony can always use D2 as sort of a bargaining chip against Microsoft ever deciding to put COD exclusively on which it will never do. I don't think it will do that.
But the thing is, though,
they'll go back to that delayed content.
Well, that's what I think that I agree with you. They could very well do that with Destiny. And again, at the end of the day, this is the thing that gets me. When Bungie puts up all their notes about this is what we're going to be agnostic, we're going to be this. You just got bought out by Sony. What do you think? Who owns you? You don't own yourselves. You're owned. That's
the thing. After that big spiel about we want to be independent and everything.
Free.
What that lasted a year?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But
yes, you did. Yeah, you bring it back.
But really quickly, when was Destiny the best for you guys? Because that'll tell us when they had Vicarious Visions and the other companies creating the content around.
Can people say arguably like it sort of peaked with Forsaken, right?
So
We're talking about Destiny 2, because I'll be honest with you, even Destiny 2 at the beginning, I was not happy with Destiny 2.
No, you weren't.
Destiny 1
you left for like a year plus.
Destiny 1 was great. I mean, even look, there was problems. Prison of Elders, all that time was not a good time. I stepped away from the game.
Taken King was the high point.
Taken King was that brought everybody back.
Rise of Machines was also good.
Right, but that was towards the end. That was Rise of Iron, right?
That period of time. But that's
the Age of Triumph to me was the best time ever in Destiny.
Look, they built to a good apex,
and they shit the bed.
Right, they built to a big apex, and then they shot the bed with D2 when it came out, because my first reaction was, why did you do this? We worked all the way up to, what was it, light level 400, and then they killed it. And we lost all of our weapons, and we had to do everything again. And then it took another year. They lost me even through Forsaken, and I didn't come back until Shadowkeep.
Well, so now they're doing that essentially with the content vault. But let me ask you this. Is there opportunity now, like you were saying, with that mothership kind of situation that they have now, for them to put more resources, hire like high.
Yes, I believe they will. They are. They've said they are hiring more people. I don't necessarily.
I don't trust them in-house.
I don't think it's going to make a difference, though, because even with a certain amount of people, they still needed 2 other studios that were Activision studios to get content coming out at a reasonable time. And even then,
let's not even forget.
Wait. You've been yapping away for 5 minutes now. Hold on.
Okay.
Even then, the content was still dripping out. You were still going periods of time with 2 other studios. Yeah. Even if they hire 200 people, it's not. What's going to change?
The only thing that will change, George, to your point, the only thing that could potentially would change is now they may actually have the ability to make Destiny 3. They could allocate an entire studio. They could hire an entire studio.
It won't be a Destiny 3. The story ends with.
No, but they said, but they've said that it could continue after that.
Yeah, and then it's whatever it is. But what I was going to say was,
but the new IP,
not the amount of content. It's, can they produce better content? And what I thought they got with Vicarious Studios and High Moon Studios was, or Vicarious Visions and High Moon Studios, was better content. Yeah. So when they were alone, they were producing the stuff. Then they suddenly got these 2 studios, and they were able to produce. Like the story in Forsaken was very good, I thought.
That was the last great story. But I got to tell you, this last year of storytelling, maybe not the execution of it.
I just want to say what they dropped at the same time. At the same time, you got all of that story on
Tangled Shore.
Forsaken to Tangled Shore. You got the Dreaming City at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. That was the last time you got anything substantial.
The Riven Raid, the
Garden of Salvation.
Yeah, you had all these things at the same time drop, and I think of a very high quality, like you're saying, at the last time it was that good.
Right. Well, yeah, but they were still under Activision. They had what they did, then they broke off, and everything became this seasonal content.
But I think it was also the studios being able to create better content and follow their vision.
But
I look, I think at the end of the day, the game is the game. It's going to do what it does. Sony will be there. I think it'll make, I don't know what, I honestly don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. Maybe we will not see it, because I think everything has been planned. Look, straight off the bat, Witch Queen alone. So in the immediate future, everything between now and next year is kind of already taken up. Look,
the
22nd of this month is when, it drops. You're going to have 4 seasons that are going to go through the end of the year. You know that what is the next one that comes out is going to get delayed into 2023. It's not going to come out at the end of 2022. That's not going to happen.
No, they use COVID as an excuse again.
They're good, whatever. It's just not going to happen. So I think we're set for the next year. You're set for the next 20 days, and then you're gone, basically, right? So we're never going to see you on Destiny.
Oh, you'll see me. The thing is
sort of just like a vagabond. Right?
No, but I think for me, like, again, you guys know what I enjoy the most now. I really enjoy the Crucible. Like, you'll see me like in the Crucible. I'm just in the Crucible. I'm just in there swapping out like meaningless guns and going and having a good time. I struggle with the way the content is now. I just don't like it. I don't like the grind.
So I'm sorry. With all due respect to you, and you know that I love you, you're not playing the game. You're not the target audience of the game anymore.
No,
You're not.
no,
You're
no.
not. So it's almost as if you got an ice cream sundae and you're eating the cherry and the whipped cream and you're not eating the ice cream. I mean, you're not. You don't want to do.
Enjoy. I think that I get very anxious. So one thing about the other thing I wanted to say about the game, because we're talking about Sony. If you guys were reading any of the publications about the buy, all of them say the same thing. And some videos that I saw were saying the same thing, was that Sony is very interested in the live game. They don't have the live game, and they need Bungie to develop live game for them.
You mean what? You mean like a multiplayer game, like the
live, whatever the live game is. That's why
live service.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that this is an important piece to it. So I think that to me could be something, and that could be why they're probably going to give Bungie maybe free reins to beef up, develop to what they need to do for Destiny for at least 2 to 3 years. But once they get to a place where they know everything Bungie knows, right, and has that internal knowledge about live service type games, then what do they need Bungie for?
Bungie reminds me of that toxic, girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever your preference is, that breaks up with people and it's always blaming everybody else. So it's almost like, Microsoft was just too clingy and Sony is going to be this, or Activision is this. So I just feel that at some point, I don't know how this is going to end, with them again, because if they wanted their independence, didn't you say, George? Well, you were the one who said they were with Microsoft. They didn't want to be with Microsoft anymore. And then Sony buys them up and you're just like, okay, so.
Well, and the thing was they wanted out of Microsoft because, Microsoft
autonomy
pushy. And what do you think Sony's going to do?
Sony's going to do, and Activision, and think about it, Activision.
Sony is paid $3 billion. They're going to want shit out of you. They're not going to want, 6 months of no content. They're going to want their money's worth.
And let's talk about Blizzard for a second, because when they got bought up by Activision, think about all these properties that 2 of you at least are aware of and play that were all put to the side. All the Blizzard games other than Diablo and World of Warcraft were put to the side, and Overwatch. But like StarCraft was put to the side. All these other IPs, even stuff that was like Guitar Hero, all that stuff that was out there, all that stuff was put to the side because all they wanted to make was money, and they had, these are the games that are going to make us money,
right?
Like COD, whatever else, right?
And Diablo every 7 years, and then World of Warcraft with every content drop,
right? So,
and that's the thing, though. Under Microsoft, they're going to revive some of these IPs, and so you can understand spending the money for Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
And they get that back catalog. It's going to
right. But with Bungie, you're getting Destiny and some mysterious IP that you're going to get. And also, don't Destiny got Bungie got how many millions of dollars from some Chinese company for another IP? What's going on with that?
Yeah,
suppose it's for a mobile app.
It's a mobile app, right?
Yeah, I suppose it's a mobile app.
How long does that take for them to do a mobile app?
We've almost spoken 25 minutes about this. I did not think we were going to go this long.
But kind of expected it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna ask one last question before we go over to Peacemaker. So with the impending changes to Destiny, I'm opening it up here. This is a public forum. Mr. Iliopoulos, would you ever consider playing another game other than COD?
I like first-person shooters, so the idea, I've tried Apex a couple of times because my son's kind of goading me to play, but I found the movement so slow compared to Destiny. I was like, I can't play this. I think the only thing I would even consider is COD.
I said other than COD.
I know that, but that's where I'm going. It's like I have no interest in anything else. I'd rather watch YouTube videos, Netflix, and Disney Plus.
You want to try Dying Light too?
No, I tried that just crafting. Too much crafting.
You wouldn't even
simple man trying to make my way through the universe.
You remember, George, the experience of playing one night of, what was that game?
Division 2.
Division 2 with me?
Division 1. It wasn't even Division 2.
What was it, Division
Imagine me. Do you remember? I can't play any other game. The game has to be run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot. I don't need to think too much. Now, if there's mechanics in a big event type of content, like a raid, I love to do that. Like I love to be the hero in that environment, right? I don't love to be a hero in environment. I don't love to be in environments, which I think Destiny is doing, is where I can shoot somebody and not kill them because I don't have a mod on my gun.
Can I say something? If logic were a pretzel, you'd be the best pretzel maker ever because you just twisted yourself.
Call me a baker.
So many ways to make that land. It did not land, dude. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm calling you out on that. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm making you a bet that if you end up buying Witch Queen, you're going to have to play another game with us. You will have to play another game. No. Because if you end up getting Witch Queen, you got to take this bet.
You see how passive aggressive I get when I play other games? Remember when we're playing Diablo?
You get passive aggressive when you do anything other than Crucible or Gambit in Destiny.
But no, and then when you play Crucible or Gambit, you're just aggressive and not passive.
We need a goat face swap for me.
You said open forum, but it was only directed to one person. So
right. So, George, what is your take on it? Do you think he'll and we're gonna end it here. Do you think he'll buy Witch Queen? Yes or no?
He's gonna hate buy it.
Okay, Keith.
I agree. If it does happen, it's because he wants a weapon.
So, but bottom line, yes or no?
Yeah,
it's a good chance of yes.
Yeah, Artie, right?
No,
I don't think I'm gonna. I'm not gonna answer that.
Justice League comic book through the entire run. He's gonna buy Witch Queen.
Yeah, I did read Justice League Incarnate this week, which was the biggest mistake of my life.
And you're going to repeat that mistake next month when issue 2 comes out. So you'll be buying Witch Queen.
You're going to
issue 5.
You're going to purchase a $700 pair of sneakers that are something that look like Kermit the Frog's feet, but you will not buy Witch Queen. I rest my case.
$800 on Yak Face, but he won't spend $30 on Witch Queen.
Hey, I'm a fan of Star Wars. I like the figures. I like sneakers.
Sneakers, okay. Imelda Marcos. Okay.
You guys don't make fun of me. I spent like $300 on an album.
Oh, we did.
It's because I wanted it.
What was the quote yesterday? I'm my own worst enemy. I spend $2,000 on eating out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're not here to judge. Let's turn over to Peacemaker.
No,
so I'm gonna throw it over to George in terms of how he felt about.
Don't start me off with Peacemaker. Get somebody else to start off with.
Keith, go ahead. You.
I enjoyed it.
5 seconds.
I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. I thought it's starting to tie everything together. We're starting to see the where things are going to go. It's big ending kind of seems coming up. I don't know how many episodes are.
2 episodes.
2 episodes left.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming to a head. I like it. We'll see where it goes. The characters have been interesting and fun. Not much to say really in terms of like ooh, it was this, but solid episode overall.
Artie, what did you think?
I agree with everything that Keith said. To me, it, like you said, it brought the Peacemaker universe together. Like it was so disjointed, but fun. Like we often talked about it in the past as being like a roller coaster ride. And here the roller coaster ride kind of leveled off a little, even though it had really nice set scenes in the episode, but it wasn't wild like other episodes to me. It was more like almost like a traditional show, almost on the rails, kind of like straightforward running show, not with these huge like ups and valleys. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it set the stage. I loved kind of like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, vignettes with the butterfly, the vignettes with the red dragon, the music.
Are you talking about towards the end when they were building up to? Yeah.
I thought that was really well done and a nice cap on the episode. Well,
it's really if you're looking at storytelling, it's really sort of the end of the second act going into the final act now. It's really kind of the end game is in play now, right? That's really what it is. So
now, do we care about the end game? I don't know, but I do think it was a solid episode, and it was my favorite episode of the series so far.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think the most cogent and a a lot happens in it. And like, I think he said it the best. He brought everything together, and I thought it really worked well.
George?
It was the best episode out of the bunch so far. I still have problems with some character development stuff. I still, Harcourt's change is a little like weird because it just seems very sudden. I don't know. I just think I can't get into Vigilante's, goofiness. I just think it's like way over the top, and it kind of takes you out of his like over the top, I guess, kind of stupidity and psychosis just seems counter to everything else that's going on, even though we're talking about alien butterflies and everything. But it just feels like strange compared to everything else that's going on. Cena's great. That end scene with him at the piano was like, you could see the serious actor there.
And not only that, but he actually plays piano.
He plays the piano.
Really? I thought that was excellent. What did he play? Home
Sweet Home.
George, can I ask you a question? Because you mentioned something in a past episode that we did about hardcore being a butterfly. What did you think about the beginning where she figured it out and she's talking to them about
it? You took the words right out of my mouth, Artie. That's a good question.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that she wasn't, because her character just kind of swiveled completely from where she was. She was very cold, calculated, a very career oriented type of character. So for her to soften up like immediately, it just felt off. So I just thought, I was like, okay, then it just adds to that kind of weird character development issues that I've had then. Because if she was a butterfly, then it would have made sense a little bit, but so that kind of just throws it off.
I gave it 3. She gave about 3 episodes of slow change towards what she saw. You see her softening a little bit,
right? Wasn't the picture 2 episodes ago, and then sort of.
Yeah, and
how many episodes do you want to drag that change out?
Yeah,
it's just, but it feels like it's very. It doesn't. It feels. I don't know. It's just like she doesn't need to. She didn't need to do that. She doesn't. Her character didn't need that kind of softening up in order to make her a love interest, for what purpose.
That was sort of, they were building to that. The surprising thing will be if it doesn't happen.
It's like having a sex scene in Predator. You don't need it.
Right. You don't need it.
Although here's the thing. My take on it.
The butterfly. I'm sorry. The butterfly attack on the police station was.
Oh my
really
God,
good.
it's great.
But I had one issue. They should have showed the butterflies going through another entrance.
You want to see it going up to the butt.
That's true. I do have a couple of questions. First off, I agree with everybody that this is the best episode of the series so far. I think I think they really have to go strong because they're going into the third act. So you have the butterflies, you have White Dragon. That's going to come to a head. You have like 3 different sides right now. It is the most gun episode. It's gun letting gun be gun, sort of like in terms of the gore and the stuff, because it's probably the most horror tinged episode of all the episodes so far. Because I got to tell you, this Slither-esque, yes, right?
Yeah.
And and he also wrote Dawn of the Dead, right? So the remake, but the butterfly scene in the police thing was great. I do have one geeky question. The police chief already had a butterfly in him, right? And another butterfly went in.
No, I don't think he had a butterfly in him. I don't think they ever
had a butterfly in him.
Yes, he did. The police chief who took the book had a butterfly in him. Remember, he met with what's
the one who shot the guy? No, he didn't. He was just working with him.
He worked with Myrn previously as a merc or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Okay, maybe I missed that. Okay, that's fair enough. I did feel. I still feel that I'm not clear about the purpose of the diary. What Waller is trying to do with the diary and
framing him and stuff like that. I have no idea.
I don't understand what she's having her daughter do. What she wants her daughter to do.
Mm-hmm. Maybe revenge for. Remember, he would have backstabbed her in the movie. If you go back to the movie, the events in the movie, he backstabs her. He's going to kill Flag, and
he was supposed to kill Flag.
He was supposed to protect. He was supposed to protect. He had the mission from Waller, and they had the change of heart. And Waller was like, no, he's like, no, I got to bring it back to
Right,
Waller.
and I have no idea what's going on.
That's why I feel it's a little
He didn't have the
confusing.
change of heart. The other guys did. Remember, he had the gunfight with
With a Deadshot.
yeah.
No, I'm with you. I got it now. I'm back.
I don't know what.
That's all. I understand that there's going to be sort of this thing. Obviously, you know, the white supremacists are sort of the, you know, it's just that sort of the bigger thing is the butterflies, right? That's the bigger thing.
I have another question for you guys.
I'll actually have two questions. So.
Go ahead, George.
No, you go first. You said it first.
Okay, just looking at the show and then looking at the character Peacemaker. I know he was a non-entity to most fans. Do you think this precludes using him in any other way?
No, he'll be in something else.
Like,
he'll probably be
you can't put him in a Justice League movie now, can you? Can you put him in a Batman movie?
Please don't make a Justice League movie.
No.
Don't make a Justice League.
The way DC like reinvents their characters on the fly,
Yeah,
I
they
could
do it.
just see something stupid happening.
Because I don't get the sense that he's kick-ass or a tough guy.
He's not.
But the thing wasn't he a tough guy or a kick-ass guy in Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to tell you is that
He's broken.
You know, was it last
Losing
year?
his edge.
Wasn't it last episode where he has the flashback to Killing Flag? And I think that kind of took him over the edge where he realized, I don't want to do this
He
anymore.
killed his brother.
Well, did he kill his brother? Or did his brother OD? You don't see him kill his brother.
He killed his brother.
No, we'll see. I mean,
I got to tell you,
something.
the scene in the classroom was great.
Oh, I love the opening, the closing. That's why I really enjoyed and I even enjoyed the banter with the kids. You know, I thought it was good.
That was great. I love when he kept on calling the kids. He had old names for the kids. I thought that was really well done.
So the one thing that's interesting to me though is Gunn is going back to a mind controlling monster as the big bad for the you know. First it was Starro.
I thought that myself too, just like Starro, right?
And the one thing is, you know that what Vigilante said about White Dragon's armor is going to come back.
What did he say about Vigilante? What did he? I remember. Remind me. What did he say?
Walked in, he goes, "Oh, your dad's armor has got a weak point."
Right.
Oh, he did.
He made a big point about it.
Right.
So you know that's going to come into play. You know.
So the question is, does he kill? Who kills White Dragon, or does White Dragon die?
Peacemaker kills him to complete his arc,
or the neighbor kills him.
That would be a nice swerve. Actually, that'd be pretty funny.
Okay. Before we jump over to the primary thing that we're going to be talking about for the next 55 minutes, we didn't talk about it last week because we mentioned it. Like James Gunn, we talked about a potential second season, which obviously it'll probably get a second season because it's really actually popular. But there's been reports about, you know, giving James Gunn the keys to the kingdom. We mentioned that we were going to talk about it last week and we didn't. How do you guys feel about that?
When you say kings to the kingdom, you mean
like Zack Snyder,
like a Gunverse?
Well, DCU, no way.
Not the entire, but more properties.
Yeah, if they give him, I wouldn't care if they gave him like Suicide Squad, Secret Six, you know, stuff like that. To me, that's like ancillary. Yeah. Dilates for Hero might be fun for him
Keys to the Kingdom, though. You would think Keys to the Kingdom would mean Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, Batman we know is now in Reeves' hands for the next
time. But that's not a DCEU Batman, is it?
But which Batman is he?
Yeah.
Isn't that the problem right now?
That's becomes Michael Keaton. Like which I don't know.
Well, that's the problem. It's you don't know which Batman is which, and you know. I mean, you feel like you have three other movies, right? You have not two, right? You have Flash, you have Shazam, and you have Aquaman and Black Adam, which are supposedly going to be in the same universe, right?
But the Flash is supposedly going to undo all the Snyderverse stuff. And apparently the rumors that they're going to replace Batman with Batgirl.
Oh, there's Batgirl as well, right? Yes.
It's going to be Crisis. So let's see where it goes. I think, Vlad, to ask anything, to predict anything about the DCEU is like a failed kind of like, it's so convoluted from a perspective of there's no coherence. It's uninteresting. The Snyderverse to me was a complete failure. It may have made money and made some segment of the fandom, I don't know, incel subreddit loser fanboys happy.
Bitcoin, what did you call them? Beta cucks? Yeah, that's yes.
Crypto beta cuck.
I can find the quote if you like, because it's a beta cuck.
Right about that though, because the Snyderverse kind of appealed to those comic gator.
Yeah, that's what it does
fascist
to me. And
superheroes.
I just think that they need to scuttlebutt the entire universe and make a point to say, hey, as of this year, we're going to start making films that create a coherent universe, and we'll have our Elseworld stories once in a while, like the Joker.
Please don't get me. Don't.
I don't want to get you. I know. For some reason, I like the movie. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure.
No, we're not going.
Joker.
That's a discussion for another time. We'll have a devoted. We'll devote an entire episode to our worst.
No, if we take your friend Magnus's suggestion, which I thought was an excellent suggestion, and we watch movies we've either not liked or never seen, and just talk about them.
Well, I think what Magnus was saying that we should do is we should each pick a movie that we love.
Okay.
Nobody else of us have seen, and the goal is that each of us have to go see it and come back. Yeah, so each of us would have 3 movies probably that we'd talk about. Now the reality is, I mean, we're geek enough that we've probably seen all the geeky movies that we'd end up having to put some romantic films in there or some sappy whatever, you know.
I would put something with subtitles.
Something with, I would definitely put something on there with subtitles.
Fuck you.
That would be great. It would be
Cosmic Ass says no.
All right, with that, we're going to turn over to Boba Fett, episode 6. The name of it was That Escalated Pretty Quickly.
Right. Is that what it was? No, but that's a good one. It did escalate pretty quickly.
So, so that happened, right? Everything in that episode and everyone in that episode appeared, but
wait, spoiler territory, right?
Huge spoiler territory. Huge spoiler territory.
Both
all right, I'm gonna jump on this first because, yeah, okay. Look, as a Star Wars fan, as an OG fan, as a Mandalorian fan, this is everything you'd want. You know, you get everything. You get Luke, you get Grogu, you get the Mandalorian, you get Cobb Vanth, you get Cad Bane, you get Ahsoka, you get everything, right? And it's great. It's overload. It's not the Book of Boba Fett, though. And Boba Fett's in it for 15 seconds and does what Boba Fett should do, which is basically keep quiet and nod. That's all he does. And that's how I remember Boba Fett. So they got him right in this episode. That's what I have to say.
Got
the part about keeping the helmet on.
Well, he didn't keep the helmet on, but again, that's what Din is there for, right? So here's the thing. It's all being set up for, as far as I'm concerned, Grogu, it touched all the right heartstrings before I get to the end, which is basically Luke being the Yoda to Grogu's Luke, training him, doing everything. It looks like it's the precursor to the academy that he built that gets burnt down by Ben Solo in The Last Jedi. So anybody who's thinking that, they're going to retcon The Last Jedi in the sequel trilogy, please, I don't think that's going to happen. They're trying to show you how Luke was with Grogu at this point until he becomes, he's still, you can see he's actually, as great as he is, he still has trepidations training him because he feels like, the kid has issues, baggage, right? There's stuff there. There's connections to Din. There's all these things. So that's the big part of it. Obviously the great surprise is, Ahsoka showing up. That's amazing. That was, it's a connection back to the Clone Wars and to Rebels. I love the lines about, a friend of the family. You're just like your father. These are all great, solidifying lines that tie in each of the pieces of the Star Wars universe, to me at least, in a much more, you feel more connected now. And obviously they're going to branch out, and you could see how it's going to go into this Filoni-verse, whatever that's going to be, with Ahsoka and whatever other shows they're planning on doing. The Rangers of the New Republic looks like it's done. So, but there were elements of it in here with like Cobb Vanth. I love Timothy Olyphant. I love his character. When Cad Bane showed up, I'm not a fan of Cad Bane, never was a fan of Cad Bane. He was the scariest motherfucker, the way he showed. That was just such a badass scene, the way he comes in at the end. I gotta tell you, and what happens, the whole, the face off. It's great. Obviously, I don't think Cobb is dead. I think he's the impetus that's going to get the people of Freedom Town, aka Mos Pelgo, to join up with Boba Fett. My problem is you got one episode left. At the end of the day, where's this going to go? It's going to be a cliffhanger. I don't think you're going to get stuff resolved the way you should. You don't want stuff to be rushed. But then also, I'm trying to understand the cadence of the season. But overall, it's not the Book of Boba Fett. I called these last 2 episodes. It should have been Star Wars episode 6.5 because it's like entire Star Wars universe. It's not just Boba Fett. It's a bigger show. It's about more things.
I think it should be like a Tales of Star Wars.
Tales of Star Wars, right? Like an anthology series of stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a good thing that in there, and there was nowhere to go with it. You said you don't know where it goes. You said, where does the show go? Like, we know that there's a bigger thing going on with Mando and Grogu, Ashoka. There's something big going on there to me.
Well, that's the whole. You're seeing. That's the That's the Mandalorian.
That's what I'm getting at. They haven't set up Book of Boba Fett to fit into that bigger universe
because it's all about Tatooine.
But here's what I think. Let me tell you what my fan fiction idea is. That they're going to set him up as the Damo. Is that what the word we're using?
Don't trigger Keith.
Don't trigger Keith. He's going to be the Damo of all the
Daimyo.
Right, the Daimyo of all the bosses. And once the Thrawn comes in, and they need a muscle, meaning an army, Boba Fett's going to have that army by having the underground and having like the black market, the mafia, the gangs, so to speak. That's where I think they're going.
The mods.
Yeah, right. the mods. Ooh, they're scary, driving at 3 miles per hour at you and missing at point blank range.
Do you believe that there's another bigger bad behind that though? Let's leave Thrawn out of this right now because of the Syndicate. Who's behind the Syndicate?
I mean, the most obvious one would be Kiara, right?
Kira.
Yeah.
From Solo, right? Yes.
Solo. The Crimson Dawn. I mean, that would be the most obvious choice.
You mean behind the Pikes? It would be above the Pikes.
But you see, as much as I love the episode, it's like you said, it's not Boba Fett. It's like when he shows up at the end, you're just kind of like, oh shit, it's Boba Fett. It's. So are they using his show to kind of reestablish his character and then start building it into what Filoni's trying to do? That's the thing I can't.
Yeah, that's what I think, George. That's kind of what I was saying.
But you just don't know how it's going to work.
Right,
it's like,
we don't know where he fits in. And
at this point, do you put your faith into the showrunners?
I mean, my problem is it's 2 different shows in one. I'm sorry. Look, I'm with you. I have faith in Filoni and I have faith in Favreau. My problem is that this is 2 separate shows. I have somebody right now, and I know you've had people too. I have people who've seen the first 2 episodes and are like, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't want to continue watching a Star Wars show. And I'm like, please.
They gave up.
Stop. Just trust me. You got to make it to episode 5. And look, this could end up being a shit show at the end of it. It could. And here's the thing. The expectations are so high for episode 7 because of a number of reasons. No one cares about the Pikes. They've just introduced a huge question about Grogu, if Grogu's going to, choose the Force or he's going to choose going back to his dad, right? To his foster, and the argument is that's all people care about. So think about it. If the next episode comes back and there's no resolution to Grogu coming back to Din, right? People are going to be pissed. Yeah. If there's no resolution to the entire Pike story, it's a cliffhanger.
But they know that's in the other show, Vlad. I don't think they expect that from the next
episode. You've introduced so many elements right now. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be spending 30 minutes with Luke Skywalker training.
Yeah, well, I think we got to talk about that too, because I have some trepidations about that.
I think
I think we should talk about
something first. Go ahead, George.
No, it's just that I think the thing is, the show has been schizophrenic from the first couple episodes.
Excellent word. Yes.
So, it's like you have the flashbacks, which are really well done. They're fantastic. And then you get Boba Fett trying to be the daimyo. And it's just kind of like, all right, whatever. It's okay, but it doesn't match up to the quality of the flashbacks. And then all of a sudden, you have the return of the Mandalorian, and then like the quality skyrockets to like world building, lore, action, and then
nostalgia, fan service.
But it's fan service that's done in, Boba Fett was doing fan service pretty well, I think, with like, with some of the like with the cut Star Wars characters from, New Hope and stuff like that. True. They were cute little nods, but then you get into this episode and all of a sudden now it's still up here.
You don't have a tear in your eye when Luke is running with Grogu? You hear Yoda's theme? Oh, come on, it's like
it's like you get when Din said, "I just want to see him," and his voice
cracks, or when Ahsoka puts her hand on his shoulder. Look, I got to take back to what George said about sort of how everything was broken out, how schizophrenic it was. I do want to say, like, if there was a pie diagram of like everything of flashbacks, current, then you have a huge part of the Mandalorian. You got to throw in there probably 10 to 15% of a Bacta tank, because it was a Bacta tank in every episode.
Except the last two.
But I would say, here's my question: is Boba Fett is the same fan that would like Boba Fett, right? And where Boba Fett like takes an interest in the Boba Fett show, necessarily the same fan that gets the same kind of like we get in our stomach when we see kind of like the Luke, Ashoka.
I really want to answer this, but I'm going to alienate a whole bunch of people. I don't believe it's the same fan.
What? Yeah, it's not the same fan, because like Boba Fett didn't have anything to him unless you read the novels.
Can we stop for a second? Let's leave the novels out of it.
No, I'm just saying that the only kind of characterization that Boba Fett had was the novels. If you're just going by the movies, all you have is the holiday special, and then 2 movies where he does diddly shit.
And then post that, you end up having everything from the Clone Wars on, which I understand that creates, for a younger generation, that creates a whole nother level of sort of retconning him and bringing him up to where he became. But at the end of the day, for X amount of time, right, for X amount of years, he was a cipher. Basically, he was nothing, and everybody projected onto him what they felt.
Awesome. That's it.
What they wanted him to be, what they thought he would be. And again, Filoni and Favreau, let's Favreau and Filoni, because it was Favreau's initial idea about Din Djarin, is he becomes what Boba Fett was, and that's what I expected Boba Fett to be.
Well, Din was a different character than Boba has been portrayed in.
Well, he was a bounty hunter. I mean, you have a person who's dressed in Mandalorian armor.
The bounty hunter thing, but other than that, the characterizations were completely different, because Boba wasn't as kind of strict in his, in following the rule of the Mandalorians,
right?
Whereas Din was,
right.
Even the first season when he's wounded, and IG-11's like, you need to take your helmet off. He's like, I can't.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
he still was refusing to take off his helmet because of the code. Boba Fett was not that strict in following the code. So outside of the fact that they're both Mandalorians and bounty hunters, they're both from different kind of clans.
Well, and here's the thing. Let's remember something. Din is a foundling. He is not a true Mandalorian.
Right.
Boba is more of a Mandalorian in lineage because of his father, and because of his, whatever, not his father, but his.
I love it.
No, he's not a Mandalorian. He's a filthy clone.
I love the episode.
Just alienating all the clones that are
clone hate. I'm sorry.
To me, I love the episode. I'll tell you right now, I could have just had those 2 episodes and wherever that story is going with them, and not had the rest and been perfectly fine. Or it's so good. It makes me so interested, even from the last episode into this episode, just what Luke is doing. There's more lore, there's world building, there's interesting stuff about the kid. There's interesting stuff about Ashoka. Like, what's Ashoka's and Luke's relationship now?
Well,
Right.
the problem with that lore building is it's building towards the new Star Wars trilogy.
Went there, but yes,
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
true.
Gotcha,
That's
gotcha,
true.
gotcha.
I mean, look, you have 30
Yeah.
years.
But-
You have 30 years to avoid it.
But I mean,
basically.
it shows Luke as a pretty good teacher. At least you saw that he was able to, as opposed
Although
to
he did have a little impatience with him when he's
A little
scooting
bit.
him along. He's picking him up and he's scooting him along.
which was like so
But I
funny.
thought it was so good. And, to Vlad's point, you got one episode to wrap up a lot, or not to wrap it up and leave us like this. I waited for that.
Mhm.
And
Look,
that's
each
what I'm-
season of The Mandalorian has had some, like the specific story is done. Like you're introducing the Darksaber at the end of season 1. Grogu is done. You've closed one door with Grogu and you've opened the door about the Darksaber and the war for Mandalore.
I know that something's going to happen, but I feel like there's not enough time. Like that should be a lot. There should be a lot of infighting, sniping between the Syndicate and Pikes. And
Can I ask you a question? Okay, so very important question. Is Jennifer Beals Twi'lek dead?
I would think so.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And isn't it a little suspicious that Max Rebo had the night off? He wasn't there. Max Rebo seems to get away. Max Rebo seems to get away all the time. He gets away from the sail barge. He's not playing that night, I think
someone in the Pike organization likes him.
Somebody in the Pike organization
Tipped him
likes
off.
him. Okay, so predictions for the next episode. Will Boba ride a Rancor in the next
I
episode?
just want to backtrack for 1 second because Artie said he had one issue with the Luke training things, and I was curious to hear what that was.
Oh, yeah,
here's
what
my
was it?
thing. As beautiful as it was, as much as I liked the episode, I never needed to see Luke again.
I agree with you. I agree
I
with you.
never needed
Not
to
this
see him
soon.
after
Not
that
this soon.
penultimate
Yeah.
episode of season 2. To me, the
I agree.
end of season 2, to me, I cried.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it multiple times that day. while
I was
supposed to be
telling you,
looking.
watch
I
it.
couldn't
I was
believe it.
texting you.
No, I couldn't believe what I was literally seeing.
Right.
Like watching it. It was a hallmark moment in my fandom.
Because it's arguably one of the best scenes in a Star Wars
Yeah, to
property,
me,
right? Yeah.
It was just all of that. I don't want to see. And again, they did it well. It's not that they used him badly. They did anything.
The effects
New
were great.
outfit. You
The
got a
effects
new
were great.
outfit. You got a
And
new
they
outfit.
did a beautiful job with the CGI too.
Yeah, they really
Much
upped it.
better. Much better.
Props to that YouTube guy.
But the thing
Yep.
is
Right,
I
Keith?
keep thinking to myself, where does this end? Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's the two warring schools of thought, which are basically you're still relying on the old stuff, but the old stuff is what people want.
No, us fans. No.
So, how are you gonna They have to. They're bringing Grogu back into the Mandalorian, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have to see Luke.
Okay.
You had to
Right.
because else you could explain Grogu showing up with Anakin.
Yeah, that I understand.
I didn't need to see Grogu again.
That's true too.
I also understand that would have been like he doesn't see him again for years. I mean, I never expected that he was going to see him
As a baby again, essentially.
as a
But
well.
he,
Yeah,
but he ages very long.
But the thing is, Din's a more interesting character with Grogu around.
Yeah.
well, it's like
Oh,
you
is
said,
he?
Lone
I
Wolf
don't
and
know.
Cub.
That one episode, there was no Grogu in it. I was fine watching
No,
that
but
whole
his love
episode.
of Grogu was there.
No,
But
I
No,
know.
he-
what you
what
mean.
I'm
I know
but
what
you
you
know
trying
what?
to say
He
is-
was there. He was there. I mean, in essence, the whole thing about what he ended up doing with the armor and the
What
gift.
I'm trying to say is, let's just say the fan ideas are true, and now we're going to see Han Solo and Chewbacca swoop in with the Millennium Falcon.
To help
But
Boba
you-
Fett, that makes no sense. That's
If it
But
goes that
whatever it
far,
is-
then there was no reason. Here's the thing: there was no reason to have a Boba Fett show. If you're going to bring Luke back and you're going to bring Han back and Chewie back, then just you know what? Just throw in all your chips and say, look, we're going down this road. We're gonna exhume the corpse of Carrie Fisher. Excuse me for saying it. We're gonna create a Hidden Valley print.
They're going to give us the three of them uniting together.
Right. I mean, that's really what we.
if you got that scene though, how many fanboy wrists would be broken that episode?
Well, that's
but it's see most of it. Well, yeah, I don't know.
that's the cardinal sin.
Well,
That's
all
the
I'm
cardinal.
saying is, I just didn't expect it or need it. They
Right.
did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm watching it and going, I really like this. I really love it. But I'm like, why are they using Luke?
Right.
Like, I understand.
I felt the same way. I felt the same way the first time I saw it. I was happy. I was not awestruck.
There's a purpose in this. He's not just like tacked on, just the
right. He's playing the Yoda role
on the way he was in Rise of Skywalker, where he just pops up. Nobody Jedi doesn't throw away the lightsaber. He was tacked on in that. Han Solo was tacked on in that. That's exhuming the corpses of those characters to try and lift the spirits of a shitty movie. In this one,
unfortunately, and this is what I don't want to be drawing analogies between the sequel trilogy and Boba Fett, but that's the problem that I have. It's what's the through line? Because that's, as people love, as divisive as Last Jedi is, there's people that really look at it and say it's a great Star Wars movie, and there's other people that hate it. The problem that I have with it, I have a problem with all three movies that they didn't have a storyline that went through. And that's what my concern right now is. Like, think about it. You're watching Book of Boba Fett, you're watching these episodes, and right in the middle of it, you have sort of the strongest episodes. And now you're about to have the finale. And the finale is not going to, unless the finale is going to.
But the thing is, if the quality of the last two episodes have been really good because of who's involved, then you have to assume that the last one.
Well, Robert Rodriguez is directing the last episode.
And I'm afraid that the quality might, you remember, I stated this kind of, I think, when we were talking about the earlier episodes, it really looks like it's not done on the same set or the same sound stages and by a different production crew completely that doesn't have the same level or the same finances as the Mandalorian episodes. It looks like a completely different show. And obviously directors direct things differently, cinematographers do things differently,
right?
But it's the difference between, watching something that's done by a high school production team versus a professional production.
I'm sorry, we're talking about the same show that in the first episode we had Boba Fett fighting a Ray Harryhausen Crabman or whatever centaur thing, right? And then you go to Din Djarin, I'm sorry, the Mando, kicking ass and killing a bunch of Nikto, a bunch of Barada, whatchamacallit, the mob guys, slicing them up, like completely.
And just well done. But let me ask you this. So going into the last episode, what do you expect it to be? And no, but do you expect it to be?
I'm going to throw that question right back at you because a few weeks ago you said, "Oh, I can't wait because all the bounty hunters are going to show up." Are the bounty hunters going to show up?
I don't know. They have to, right?
No, they don't.
If you watch, I watched some videos today to find out. Remember, because I didn't watch like the Clone Wars. I have no interest in expanded universe stuff, but I had to find out.
You're watching expanded universe stuff.
I had to figure out. Right now, I'm watching expanded universe. I understand that, but I'm talking about the animated stuff.
You bought an expanded universe action figure.
I know. So about Bane, so I looked up about him.
Sorry.
His cosmic ass says "fuck you." I watched about the history of Bane and his storyline, and there was supposed to be an episode that didn't appear in either the Bad
Batch or
something.
Him against
Boba kills him. In the back of that episode is Bosk with Boba Fett.
I don't think Bosk is going to be there.
So I'm just saying that to me as a fan, what I would like to see, even though I didn't want to see Luke, this is a good reason to bring the other bounty hunters in at least.
So I'm going to throw out the other one, what George said. Okay, fine. So if the payoff is that Grogu has to show up, who's bringing Grogu? Is it Luke bringing Grogu back to Tatooine and Luke ends up helping Grogu and Din take out the Pikes? If Luke shows up
that cannot happen. That cannot happen.
That's jumping the shark, right?
Yeah.
And
Just jumping the Sarlacc pit.
Luke is going to keep Grogu there. Ashoka left. They're there. When Grogu,
you think Grogu is going to choose the lightsaber?
Yes.
Nope. Dude, that's the whole purpose of showing Luke so quickly. And I hate to say it, and again, I'm not saying this is good storytelling. This is marketing. They know that Grogu sells.
But it's also story. I think he's serving the story more that if he's in the show.
There's no way Grogu has to become a Jedi.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He has to become that. Remember?
No, he doesn't. First of all, they're showing you that he has post-traumatic stress syndrome from Order 66.
I understand that. But what I'm saying, he has to become I don't believe that Mando is the chosen one or whoever that person is that's supposed to restore Mandalore. I don't believe
All right, we can argue. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that you need. Here's the thing: the Darksaber. Here's another theory that's out there. The Darksaber was created by whoever it was who was half Jedi, half Mandalorian. Right. So you have Grogu, who's essentially a Padawan, and he's also a Mandalorian foundling. He could theoretically.
That's where I was going. That's why he has to stay with Luke.
No, he doesn't have to stay with Luke.
He's not going to see the Darksaber if he's with Luke.
He doesn't. He would have to be with Din. That's the whole purpose. And look,
no, he should go with Din when he's a Jedi.
When he's a Jedi, Din is going to be in a wheelchair.
Because don't forget, he's
900 years old,
50 years old or something.
Right.
No, I just can't. Like for me, again, I don't mind being
prepared to be disappointed
because I won't be disappointed because it's so fucking good. Like it's so good, they're going to execute. I feel
and what they're going to execute is the whole purpose of this is to show you that he tried with Luke. Luke even says that it's not so much me teaching him as him remembering what he learned, then seeing everything that he goes through. There's another part here that they haven't really kind of given out is how did he get out of the Jedi Temple?
Well, they're saying it might be Mace or it might be.
Please don't be Mace. Like give me back my hand, motherfucker. That's not gonna happen, okay?
I would love to see that though. Let's do that scene just for the fuck of it.
Where's that little green bitch? Give me the green bitch. Let me go. No, it's not gonna be that.
Just
Ace Wind is more respectful to the bitches.
So you understand my reasoning is how can he can't really I would hate to play Dungeons and Dragons with you guys, and one of you guys had to bring a kid around with you. I gave George that fucking animal, and I wanted to kill it the second after I gave it to him.
But it's lone wolf and cub.
I understand that.
You don't want. Look, they say it over and over again. Ahsoka says it that his connection to you is very strong. Even Luke says it.
Yeah.
I look. Here's the thing. Remember, isn't it better for him not to go down that road? I mean, if we play this out, let's play this out for a second. If he stays with Luke, and sorry, Keith, I'm going down this road, okay? Let's not forget that the Empire wanted Grogu's blood for whatever reason, remember? And there's potentially the thing about cloning Snoke, making Palpatine and stuff like that. If he stays with Luke, he's protected. He becomes a Jedi. Part of the plan of making the Emperor or bringing Snoke into it goes out of it. If you leave Grogu, if he's not under the protection of Luke and he ends up with Din and he's out there, he's a Force wielder still. He has the potential to do not only good, but bad as well, because he has, remember attachment, what is it? Fear leads to suffering, attachments lead to all these things. He could end up.
Where is he in the sequel trilogy?
He's not in the sequel trilogy. Right. And everybody was like, oh my God, does that mean that he died during Ben Solo's? And remember, he's supposed, because even if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me, or we'll look at it on the tape, Ben Solo is supposed to be his first student, not Grogu. So if that's the case, then, aliens don't count. Luke is racist, so he wouldn't count Grogu. But no, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's Grogu leaves. I think Grogu's too, I don't want to say damaged, but he's a child.
I'm interested to see where it goes. I'll ride the train. I'm on the Filoni Favreau Filoni train. So
if you're on the Filoni Favreau train, go back and watch the Clone Wars.
I try. I can't watch that stuff. Just like I can't watch subtitles.
There's no subtitles.
I know. I tried, Vlad. I was so excited to watch The Bad Bunch or whatever that show. I turned it on for 5 seconds. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I can't watch this. I cannot. There's no way.
As you said about porn, sex work is work.
Got me so interested in the Clone Wars. He's like, all this stuff happens, and it's like all this. I'm like, oh shoot, that sounds really cool. I need to go watch that right now.
Maybe go watch the XXX parody of it. That'll help you a little bit more.
I do. If there's a deep fake of Shoka, I will watch it.
You mean Rosario Dawson?
Well, don't.
Okay. Keith, you've been silent. Come on. What's your take?
I mean, of course, it was. I enjoyed the episode. I liked it a lot. But I felt like I was like force-fed member berries the whole time, to the point where I was always going to throw up. It was so much that it was like I couldn't get that excited. It was like, oh, here's Ahsoka, here's this. I mean, that's great, but it's like, all right, you're throwing everything in the basket at the end, I guess, to make it to
I think there's
where nothing felt really special to me at that point. Like going back to what Artie said and what I've told you guys, when Luke showed up, they set it up so great because Moff Gideon and the other characters, they got to this point with the Dark Troopers. It built, and then you had Luke come in and it was just like boom. This was just all right. We got Din, we got Grogu, we got. I mean, it was just one after another. I didn't have a chance to like digest anything. Not that it wasn't good. Again, I thought it was great to see all the stuff. I liked seeing it. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly not the Book of Boba Fett, like George was saying. It's just Tales of Star Wars, which should have been from the get go.
Yeah, and I think
So I mean, it wasn't my favorite episode. I'll tell you that.
Really,
it wasn't. Number 5 was the previous episode was my favorite. This was good. I enjoyed it for what it was. And I do look forward to seeing how he finishes it, because one episode left. Let's see what happens. We'll go from there.
I think you're going to have a hard time topping what you saw at the end of second season of Mandalorian. Because I got to tell you, because it's the audacity, and I hate to bring in the MCU, but and I've said this to you guys separately. It's sort of the audacity of what Marvel and Sony pulled off with No Way Home, of being able to sort of, we're actually going to bring in the other Spider-Man. We're bringing him in, and we're going to make it, and it's like, and we're paying homage to 3 different franchises, 20 years of Spider-Man, and we're going to kick ass. And that alone, and again, I remember watching Mandalorian and watching that entire scene, and you see an X-wing, and you're constantly like, they're not doing this. You
can't believe it.
You can't believe
know
it.
How they kept it secret too, man.
Well, they did, right? Because what they're saying was Plo Koon, it was a different Jedi. And here's the thing: as the episode was progressing, they kind of gave up the ghost pretty quickly when Mando lands and R2's there. I'm like, oh fuck! If R2's there, that means Luke is there. And I actually thought that they might go to the point of, okay, we're going to show you Ahsoka, but we will not show you Grogu and Luke. Sort of to tell you that, putting you completely in Mando's shoes of, you shouldn't be there with him. Because it's not good. You know what I mean? It's bad for Grogu. But the minute they showed Grogu and then they showed Luke, and the way they showed Luke, it was just a matter of fact scene. It wasn't like this big reveal. It was like,
right.
And I was like, oh, I guess, okay.
I mean, for me, it was the fact that it was just kind of like not like this grand entrance, like you said.
Right. It wasn't a great, right.
It was just kind of, but I think the purpose is they have to show the attachment that 2 of them have. Right. And you can see it from, Din's point of view, but then you have to see it from Grogu's.
Right. And you see it from Grogu's because you see him sort of reach out. Right. You see him reach out.
But then you also see the fact that he does know how to use the Force. He's just repressing that memory because of what happened. So I also feel like that's kind of going to play a part later on in Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Where he kind of becomes, that power comes to the fore. I mean, remember like we talk about how you don't know if he's going to be dark side or light side, because he did try to choke.
There is,
and he's trying to eat innocent creatures.
I mean, he was trying.
Well, he's trying to eat. I mean, I don't. That doesn't. I think the part that also that it's sort of him blasting. Like taking out the seeker droid, just destroying it. I was like, whoa, okay, that was a little harsh. I understand that it pissed him off.
Yeah.
Fuck that seeker droid.
But did you get the feeling
like 50 years of fucking around with people?
Did you also feel that that there was that scene when he takes it out and then like Luke and Ahsoka talk, right? And he just sort of like collapses on the rock, And I'm like, is he tired or is he sad? I'm like, what
No,
was
he's tired.
Tired.
Remember, whenever he overuses the Force, he gets.
That's right. I
Hungry.
completely forgot about that. That's absolutely
You get him
right.
those macaroons.
When he shielded everybody from the fire from that trooper in season 1.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think back to this. Here's where it gets a little, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this. There's so much fan service in that episode. And I'm talking about to a minute level of like fan service where you're like, okay, for the prequels, we're going to, there's the M1 starfighters there, you have all of these things. You have, it's like little deep, it's an episode full of deep cuts. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, oh, look, it's the Jawas with the crate dragon skull.
I like that. That's a lived in universe.
But that's a lived in universe. But again, for us who basically, live in that little middle of that Venn diagram between dork, nerd, and geek, we're right there in the middle of it. Well, we're geeks, not there's nerds, dorks, and I forget what dweebs.
Yeah,
dweebs.
I'm not smart.
You're a pinhead. Okay, fine. But you're cosmic ass. But I think for all of us, that's a lot. But for a lot of the people that are untrained, it's like, okay, that's fine. But for us, it's like, oh, there's so much stuff here.
What they do it for. They kind of do it like as a little wink and stuff like that.
But sometimes it's overload. To Keith's point, you're like, okay, wait, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot. I'm not saying look.
It's not a bad thing necessarily.
I mean, the thing was, they kind of didn't make a big deal about it. They didn't make a big deal of Ahsoka. It was just like he was asleep. He woke up and she was just standing right there. It wasn't
that was fine. Look,
no grand moment. It was just kind of matter of fact, and I think that kind of helped me ease into it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought all that was. I like the fact that you don't get a scene. An establishing scene in this series or the Mandalorian of Ahsoka meeting Luke for the first time. Because all of a sudden you get this understanding that Luke, and I've had discussions with friends who are like, wait a second, Yoda said like, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be? Why is Ahsoka there? I go, because Ahsoka renounced her Jedihood in the Clone Wars.
Yep.
So she's not a Jedi. I mean, she's no longer a Jedi. So she's out there. So obviously, Cad Bane
has like the Zen answers to a lot of the questions.
He has the Zen answers, and it's interesting because I feel that. What did you say, George? I'm sorry.
No, even to Luke, like Luke's
even to Luke, which I like because again, you see Luke is sort of tentative about things. He's Luke, but he's not.
Well, he doesn't want it to go sideways with him
because he knows that he could feel what's going on in him, and he knows the attachment and.
Well, again, there's people out there that are saying, well, now you see the hubris of the Jedi, which led to Luke's disenchantment with, the Jedi Order in the future. Sort of the seeds are being sown now in this. I'm like, I'd prefer not to think about what happens in the sequel trilogy right now.
I'm not even there at all. All I've been doing is just enjoying what they give us. Again, the only deep thought I'm doing, like when I'm watching it, is what I said about kind of like the tone between the two versions of the show, the Mando episodes versus the Boba Fett episodes, I'll call them. And then again, they use Luke really well. It's just jarring to me. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's good.
Yeah, I think it's you're like, this is, all of a sudden, you were given something that you were supposed to cherish. Right. And it was something that was so special that you never thought you'd get. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you get it again. And it's like, what concerns me is that.
What road does this
I don't want to take away the specialty. What did you say?
What road does this go down?
Well, not only what road does this go down, I don't want to take away the specialty of what it was to see Luke at his prime again. And leave certain things to the imagination.
But the thing is, your image of Luke's going to take him as a teacher, and then your lasting image is Last Jedi. Luke is a teacher.
Well, yeah, and I get it. They're trying. Are they trying to wash away?
Seeing Luke as again, tentative, slightly impatient, but he's a little bit like Yoda in some aspects of his personality as a teacher. So seeing that he's capable of being like a giving was kind of like, all right, now we don't think of him as a fucking disastrous, teacher that got all his students killed. Because that's your image of Luke as a Jedi teacher. Everyone,
It's true. It's like the first time. What I like was it was all kind of through the prism of there were all teachings of Obi-Wan and Yoda done through Luke. You know, obviously do or do not. There is no try, but try. Don't do. Don't try. You know,
Right.
speaking in riddles, all of that stuff. I mean, look, yes, it's pulling on your heartstrings. It's nostalgia, and you know what? I don't care. It's nostalgia porn that I like, but sometimes you're like, okay, maybe I want the diet soda, not the full sugar soda, because I think there's a lot. It's an overload to what Keith was talking about. It's like there's a lot. Look, again, I loved it. I did. And I think it serves the story. It's just not what I was expecting in a Book of Boba Fett series.
Considering the vitamin water you've been getting from Boba Fett for the past 4 episodes.
Well, no, I mean, this is where I agree with Artie 100%. It's
You
like,
need the sugar to wake up.
but this is where I agree with Artie 100%. Is this was a great moment in this series to introduce characters that we haven't seen again. Like, my God, having the bounty hunters crew come back in would have been perfect for this series. It really would have been. And, you know, not that I'm not happy to get more Luke, but it's just felt like it felt like a missed opportunity.
You know how jaded you are about lots of things.
Oh, that's true.
Look, I'm going to say,
Well, you're not the cosmic ass today, Keith. I mean,
we're going to call this one the podcast Cosmic Ass. No, but I think
if you think about a podcast,
I'm really interested in where it's going to go next week. I'm super excited for it. To be honest with you, I want to see.
I don't know where
And
it's going.
sad too, because it's the end of it, and what's going to be next.
And I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. And if you said George, Filoni and Favreau have their hands deep in it, you know, for lack of a better term, along with Rodriguez, hopefully they put something good together.
All right. Before we sign off, predictions for next week. One prediction from each of you.
Bosk, Dengar, Forlam, Zuckus, IG88.
Keith?
I don't know. I don't even speculate at this point. It's too much. I mean, the Han Solo rumor, maybe. Maybe they're saving that for something.
George?
Boba dies.
All right. I got two. All right. I got Boba rides a Rancor. Okay. and Boba versus Cad game. I think we're getting that.
Part 1.
Well, and one third one, disappointment.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, Vlad. Come on, party pooper.
I'm sorry, Cosmic Ass. I have to kind of deflate. I got to deflate a little bit of the.
I really don't want to get disappointed.
The celestial ego. Look, I mean, I'm going into it as I'm excited. I am.
So no expectations.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that back to Peacemaker for a second. You've just built up, you have when you're building up to the last episode, the end of that last episode of the penultimate episode should be something of a cliffhanger that's getting you ready for the last episode. The cliffhanger for the Book of Boba Fett has nothing to do with Boba Fett.
Right. Gotcha. Well, there was 2 cliffhangers there. There's 2 cliffhangers.
There's what are the 2 cliffhangers?
Cliffhanger with Cad.
Right. Well, that's not really that's really kind of that's a feint, because that's basically
cliffhanger.
Yeah, it is. But the real one is like what everybody only cares about what Grogu's going to do. Do you really care about what Boba's going to do with the Syndicate?
I do.
I kind of do.
To see where it goes.
They got to make it more interesting.
They're gonna have a walking race.
Have a walking.
They're gonna walk.
A bantha race.
Oh no! I pooped my pants. I have to change my type. My depends. Right. So listen. One thing about this podcast that I think we're missing an opportunity to reach a whole different audience and a big audience.
We're not talking about Euphoria.
You guys are fucking killing me with this.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll give you a second. Isn't it exciting that Euphoria I'm going to play you out to this. Isn't it exciting that Euphoria got a 3rd season?
I'm super excited about it. The last episode.
Tell us 2 good things what you like about Euphoria.
What do you like about Euphoria?
No, the last episode was really fantastic. They had a scene where kind of this alpha male father of the rich family and you guys don't care. I hate you all so much. I hate you so much. It's not even funny.
We'll let you finish. Let you dig your own grave.
No. I think I'm going to be really interested now that you started a theme here, Vlad, with my little name tag on the screen. You need to think of a new one every week ad infinitum now.
Oh, I have plenty of names for you. I should start posting. I should,
even say that because he'll come up
dude,
with.
I will put stuff out. I've created you. I've memed you to death. You think a name is going to stop me?
This little, all I'm talking about is this little text box.
By the way, here's the thing. In the recording, it doesn't show up.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
Oh. I didn't know.
So everybody at home who's watching this recorded, his name is Cosmic Ass. It's not Artie, because he had actually misspelled his name. He put it lowercase, so I had to fix it.
That's how I write everything at work too.
me talk pretty one day.
So I think we had a great episode here, guys.
Yes, we did.
I think we did. I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week. I don't know what news we're going to hear.
I think we should take Magnus's suggestion to heart. We should think about this. We will talk about it, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to play us out because I think we're about to hit an hour and a half. Okay, guys. So 1 second. So everybody, take care. We'll see you next week on the podcast Cosmic. Take care. Listen, follow, watch, love us. We love you.
The podcast Cosmic.